Hello, Andy here from the LLM Analytics team. I'm just going to walk you through an example of the clusters tab on a sort of side project I have, a demo project. Um, in this PostHog project, I have a factoid generation website. Let me just pull it up. I have like this little factoid generation where you can generate daily factoids and rate them and all this sort of stuff. And I also have an anomaly detection app that's using LLMs to do anomaly detection on time series. And so they're both feeding into this PostHog project here, and I'm feeding in my LLM traces and generations. I'm using LangChain for one of them, and I think OpenAI just SDK for the other. But the point is, I'm kind of feeding all these traces in, and I have this clusters tab here in the LLM Analytics section, and you can see like basically the distribution bar at the top here kind of groups these clusters together. So I can see this one. This looks like all the factoid generation stuff is in this kind of purple bar, and that's all this stuff grouped together here in the scatter plot. And on each scatter plot, I can kind of zoom in and look at individual examples and click through from this way as well. And then there's also, I can see another big group here is generation errors. So this is telling me I have some sort of issue. I think one of my credits is gone on some of my. I'm using OpenRouter for some of this stuff. And then I can see other stuff where I have actually, I think both my tokens are gone here. So I have like time series anomaly detection errors. I turned this one off because it was using a multimodal and it was expensive. So I can click through on the bar, or I can use the navigation to look at these clusters. And I can quickly scan each cluster has like a summary and some like 100% of the stuff in here is errors. That makes sense. And this is just giving, this is like there's a labeling agent that generates these summaries, and then I can quickly kind of scan each one here to see what the general themes are. Or I can pop all these cards open to see, like this is credit limit, token limit. So it's the same, so I can see the same flow here. The summary is probably going to tell me the same as well, or the notes will tell me the same. So I can quickly see what's going on in each cluster. And if I go back to the overall clusters here, I can kind of see the same thing here. I can look at each cluster here, and I can pop them down from within the page to quickly see, to try and get as much information as possible on each cluster. So you can see here I have a time series anomaly detection errors, and I also have the ones that weren't. This was like from probably before my credit went. I can say these are all my anomaly detections that ran successfully, basically. And I can see for each one, was there anomalies detected? What did the agent? This is an anomaly agent running on this time series data, where it sees the raw time series and an image of the time series as well, and it sort of makes a decision. You probably see it here actually. Yeah, it like this is the flow. It outputs what subset of the rows are anomalous. So this is just like an idea of like how you might use this when you're looking at your clusters tab to try and see like, okay, what different patterns exist in my app, basically. So it's a slightly different way to kind of surface groups of related behaviors or patterns of edge cases where the agent maybe is doing something that you didn't realize it was doing, or you didn't know. And you can do this in two levels. You can do this at the trace level. So the trace level is like the overall. And the trace level is like the overall collection of generations you might have in an interaction. It really depends on how you instrument your app. You can have traces, like each part of the conversation can be a trace, or you can kind of put all the steps in the conversation as a trace, or it can be like for the anomaly agent, it's an actual workflow itself. So you can do it at the trace level, but you can also do it at generations level. So generations are like the atomic units here of like each generation is an LLM request. And so in some sense sometimes these can be more cleaner because it's just one specific step in the process, as opposed to a trace that can have lots of things going on. So again, it kind of depends on like your own integration and your own app, really. In this case, there's not that much difference. So you can see it's doing similar sort of clusters here, where we have our time series detection analysis as one big group, and we have our factoid generation as another big group, and then probably we have like different slightly different flavors here, where it's like stable anomaly time series and anomaly verification. Yes, there is a verification step in my case, like when we see an anomaly, we do a verification step. So in this case, this is probably the subset of stuff that needed to be verified. And you can see like when we use clusters, all this kind of just pops out for free, ideally. without me having to, I've never had to like put a tag on any of this stuff. I just get it for free basically based on the summarization. So yeah, that's a quick demo of how the clustering feature works in PostHog on this like example project. Feel free to try it out in your own app and reach out and give us some feedback.